Alright, so... My dad. I know everyone's excited to hear background information about everything, but I have... I guess I need to get done after I'm done recording this episode. Got bills to pay. And, bills to pay. Mail to go through. And then I want to make sure that I don't accidentally take more money than what is currently sitting in my checking account out. That's an expensive mistake to make. That was a little hint about going to find Hugo. So I am going to go find Hugo and be like, "Hey Hugo, I heard you have a solution to my problem." And he's like, "Yeah, I do have a solution to your problem, but right now you're not in the right area, so you need to go like teleport to where I'm at instead. So like come up here to floor 20 where I'm at instead of down on floor 17 where I'm not. And that'll be great. That'll be great. You can come up here and talk to me, and then after you're done, you can teleport your ass back to the annex again to solve this issue." So, congratulations. Ended up in a large group text yesterday from my coworkers talking about, first it was, "I found out today I'm COVID positive," and then, "You should get yourself tested." And I'm like, okay, I will get myself tested. In the meantime, the thread ended up going, wild. And they started asking questions about my other coworker who's having a baby. Did she have a baby yet? I don't know. Nobody knows. Does anyone have her number? That level of stuff. And I was just sort of like, okay, I want to put the phone down, but I'm sure someone's going to ask me a question I need to answer. This is me just checking to make sure there's no hidden extra stuff down there. The only hidden thing is right here. It's a good piece of Clara ore, which I want or need. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be great. But yeah, weird. I don't talk to like anybody generally on the phone, because people I work with, I talk to them at work. And on the weekend, if they need to text me, they do. But, when the C word starts floating around, suddenly, I'm like the most popular person in the world, Did you test yourself? Are you okay? How are you feeling? It's like, okay, I haven't talked to my sister in a couple weeks. And, all of a sudden I get a phone call from her randomly on Monday, and it's like, I'm doing fine. I was sicker on Thursday and Friday than I was, Sunday evening, Monday daytime. So, I don't know. We will share. I'm still waiting for... This is sort of a side point. Still waiting for Advance Wars Reboot Camp to come out, which... hilarious story, if you will, that I may have already told and may not have told at any point in the last, I don't know, year, a little less than a year. Is I originally started recording videos so that I could play that game upon its release, day one. So I kind of wanted to play Advance Wars 1 all the way through, and get through the normal campaign of Advance Wars 2 before that game came out, and I sort of timed it in such a way that I was going to complete the game right about the time the Advance Wars Reboot Camp was supposed to come out. And they delayed the game because of the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and they've not released an estimated release date to this point. It's fine. Nintendo will do whatever the fuck they want, you know. I kind of have money down on that game, though, you know, like, i.e. I have all of my money essentially paid up to have pre-ordered that game, and I would very much like for it to come out so that I may play it. But I understand, you know, maybe, hopefully, I cross my fingers when I say this, hopefully they use some of this extra time, though probably not likely, to improve upon some things maybe that were lacking. I don't know. I had heard some, I wouldn't say they're rumors, I just heard that some people, it was reported that the online matchmaking, I guess the way they were going to do it wasn't super optimal. Hardcore fans always want, you know, like rank level matchmaking, you know, like you start out, you play someone, and then, you know, they play somebody else, and then eventually you get a win-loss record, and then based on everybody's win-loss record, you can sort of figure out, well, this person is one of the best players, and this guy is sort of a casual player, you know, has less game played or whatever. And in addition, you know, I'm sure they also want custom map making as well, which that might be a little pie in the sky, but essentially there's a thing called Advance Wars by Web, which is what the competitive community uses to play Advance Wars competitive games. And they try to make it so that the maps are balanced as best they can. Usually, like, you look at the maps, a lot of the maps are sort of mirrored either on an X or a Y or like a diagonal axis, you know, because there's no Z-axis in a 2D game, but you know what I mean, like going diagonal from left to right or right to left. And, you know, they want that level of sort of competitive matchmaking, which, you know, it's easier when you and, you know, I don't know, a community of people just say, I don't want to say like 50 people get together and you can all create rules that you can all agree upon and, you know, implement them, and then in a year or so make tweaks that you think better the community, versus Nintendo, who wants to basically put the product out and just sort of be done with it. They've never really been one, at least in terms of their properties, that's sort of what they do, is they want to create, they want to make hardware, and then they want to sell you they want to create the software to sell you the hardware, And then once you bought the hardware, and you bought, you know, the key games, the most important key games, a Mario, a Zelda, you know, maybe some sports or kart related game. Smash Brothers is starting to become one of those games where you have to have one on every system. Once you have those games, and everyone's bought into the hardware and bought into the software, you know, then that's when Nintendo likes to get their hands out and try and tickle your balls a little bit with, well, we're going to put another Mario out, or we're going to put another Zelda out, and those either end up being sort of like a DLC, like Galaxy 2, or they tend to be more along the lines of like, we'll have it release right at the tail end of the console, just as we're releasing our new system that you may or may not be able to get your hands on. You know? And I can't blame them. I mean, the times that they didn't do that, you know, shit, you know, they put out the fucking Wii U, you know? Nobody fucking cares about the Wii U because they marketed in such a weird way that people didn't realize it was a new console. Plus, it was not... It was just sort of a weird point where the Wii was still viable, and the Wii U was sort of this weird... I don't want to say misstep, but the way that Switch ended up being like if you took all of the best parts of the Wii U and you got rid of everything else that was terrible about the Wii U. All of the games got ported from the Wii. Anything on the Wii U got ported to the Switch, with the exception of, like, there's probably, like, I want to say 2 to 3 games that are still exclusive to the Wii U that haven't been released on the Switch, but they have to be very few and far between, and they are not Nintendo first parties at this point. Unless you're a big fan of Smash for the Wii U. Anyway. That was sort of just my roundabout thoughts on the reboot camp that is coming out maybe at some point, hopefully soon, and my not very optimistic view on the game being much more than, hey, here's a small amount of voice acting, and the characters look either better or worse than they did. Probably better. Do I die here? No, I don't die. Okay, good. I'm just gonna come up to here, and then I'm just gonna heal. I very much would like to see Advance Wars get back on, get back into play, if you will. Because, Advance Wars and Fire Emblem 7, they sort of debuted around roughly the same time period on the Game Boy Advance. And the Fire Emblem series, you can point directly to the moon, and that's like how that franchise went in the United States. Aside from never releasing Fire Emblem 6, the Burning Blade, or the Burning Blade? Blazing Blade? Something. Anyways, the one with Roy in it. Aside from never releasing that game for the Game Boy Advance or any other subsequent system, and not releasing, some of the other big ones like Genealogy of the Holy War, which I've talked about multiple times because it's a really good Fire Emblem game that I've played multiple times because it's a goodie. Every sequel's since 7's come out in the United States, and they've all been, as far as I'm aware, big sellers. And Advance Wars sort of took a different take, where Advance Wars 1 was good, and Advance Wars 2 came out for basically the rest of the world because of 9/11 came out about the same time for the rest of the world as it did for Advance Wars 1. So 1 and 2 come out the same for the rest of the world except for the United States. Stop trying to screw with me! Eh? From the sound of things, you have a lot of faith in the goddess. Whether I do or not is not concern of you. But mind your own damn business. Ha, you're correct. It is indeed no concern of mine. You're free to go. Now, if you excuse me. You. Boy isn't worth your effort, little girl. He's damaged goods. What are you talking about? I suggest you not do this. Not worth fighting him now. I get to feel he's a lot more powerful than I am. You. You know him? No. But never mind me. I heard the knights are in trouble, right? Yeah, they are. How do you know about that? Leela told me on the Leela shell. Here, take this. So he gives me the Black Pearl, which is not to be confused with the Black Pearl that looks like the Black Pearl, but it's a miniature. Just a mock-up made by the enemy. It's nowhere as near as powerful as the real thing, but it should still work. Really? Really, now hurry. Thank you. I'll make good use of it. Glad to be helped. Be careful. So Hugo, at least I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in this story, sort of fades in the background after this point. We end up returning to the annex now, and we're gonna have the goddess put the statue and the Black Pearl together like they do in every game. You know, take the thing, put it in the little slot, and you shake it all about, and now it's a single item. And that single item is powerful because combining two powerful items into one super powerful item. Lady Fina! Welcome back, Yuna. Lady Fina, I got it! I see. May be enough to undo the curse. Really? Thank goodness. Yuna thought I would have gone rogue. He swoops in with random... Yeah, no kidding. Alright, let's get the Dreaming Arrow fused with the energy. Unica, please place both artifacts on the ground. Okie dokie. Here we go. So, in order to understand Hugo's story, we're going to have to play through it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense because you don't see much of Hugo in Unica's storyline. The Dreaming Idol has been fully powered. With that, the two artifacts are made one. Quite impressive. I didn't think there was another soul in the world that could do that. Whose energy should be channeled directly into the statue. Use on Roy and the others. It's just hold it off in the presence. The artifact should do the rest. Hurry on now. I'm to it. Thank you, Lady Fina. I love you. Well, that was just embarrassing. What am I ever going to do with that girl? A handful, right? A lot of aftermath. I get a lot more optimistic just looking at her. I felt that she was special from the first time I saw her. Yeah, okay, great. She's got that super anime protagonist determination everyone loves. This is fine. Everyone's got to have determination. But in the high-stakes life and death battle, determination not always the decider, you know, between winning and losing. It's usually preparation. And not preparation age. Bam! What else? I love, love college football. As I've said before. Ugh. What? What happened? It worked. It really worked. Yeah. How you feeling, Roy? Does it hurt at all? Not really. But I definitely don't feel like myself, though. I feel like one hell of a blah blah blah. Better off than you were a minute ago. We are all very thankful for you, as am I. Owe your life. You're in your debt, Sir Unica. No, please. Wasn't be able to turn you since. Wasn't be able to prevent you from being turned in stone in the first place. Just dumb luck. Well, you did great. You resisted overpowering urge to charge headlong at the enemy, totally defy animal instinct. I'm not a bore, you know. Thanks for helping. Unica Drone mature as a knight, worthy of being... blah, blah, blah. He did? Still, yeah, just recall, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, our commander decided he wanted to remember a very important fact, just randomly at this point. He's talking about how everyone has its part to play in this story, and we're all part of a grander. In my grief of passing, I put the letter out of my mind. But your words remind me of his. You're doing what you can, and let destiny lie what ahead. Learn from your example. Render your father's sacrifice in vain. I know what I must do, what we all must do. Thank you, Unica, opening our eyes and saving our lives. I don't know what to say. Ha ha ha. We allow me then. Our bodies are no longer stone. There's full toast. I believe we'll withdraw. Must give ourselves a chance to rest and recover. I agree. I feel sort of stiff. Yes, sir. On that note, we withdraw. Here's a medallion so you can fight the boss. Keep looking for the other goddess that's gone missing. I'll do my best. And I don't believe there's anything up here. You already got it. Great. Let's go. Keep moving along. Keep going. Gonna keep going. I fell down. I found Uncle Boom. What I wanted to say about college football is I love about college football is this is the cycle. This is the cycle of college football. Okay, and it's the same for every team. It's just that some teams tend to have less. They tend to have I want to say more angst when they lose because they don't expect to lose. But here's how it works, okay? We'll just start with a random season. You play your season, you win, you lose, you draw, whatever. You go to a bowl game, you don't go to a bowl game. Okay, great. Your coach is either, you have your coach, okay? You either had him for a while or you just hired him, okay? He goes off, he does some recruiting. He brings in some recruit. Those recruits are ranked by the quote-unquote smart guys as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-star recruits. Now, the 5-star recruits, there are very few of. It's supposedly based not specifically on, well, we've got to give out 5-star recruits this year, but rather these are supposed to be, they're supposed to be can't-miss players, They've got not only what it takes to be superstar players in college, but they should be NFL first-round draft picks in some or a lot of cases. Okay. Now, that assessment I just gave is sort of vague at best because I question the legitimacy of a lot of these because you'll see a lot of players, and I understand it's very difficult. There are so many high school players, and there are so few people out there that can go and legitimately look at the talent week to week and go, well, this guy is going to be clearly college-level material versus, well, he's just playing against really weak competition or really strong competition. There's nothing really uniquely great or terrible about him. But sort of my overarching point here is that you'll have your 5-star recruits, which are supposed to be can't-miss prospects, your 4-star recruits, which are supposed to be essentially your elite level. You know, they just need a little bit of seasoning to get to that elite level. And then your 3-star recruits, they're your really good players that most, you know, big-time college football D1 schools are going to get. 2 stars are sort of like, you know, they're not as good, or we don't have enough information on them. And then 1-star recruits just essentially indicates that we didn't bother to scout them either because we didn't think we were good enough, or it wasn't really our, you know, they weren't on our radar. Okay, so you do your recruiting and you end up with, you know, however many people that sign the letter of intent. Okay, great. So that's like, we'll just say 20 kids. Okay, could be more, could be less, depending on what you know, how many scholarships you have. Great. So blah 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 blah. What's fun is that if you're one of the quote unquote upper echelon teams, like Ohio State, you know, you'll get a 5-star prospect. If you live in the South, and you're a program that either has had a lot of success or is having a lot of success, or for some reason gets really lucky, you're going to nab some 5-star recruits, okay? At some point, you know, 1 or 2 here and there, okay? But if you live in the Northeast and you're not Ohio State and you don't have like a super well-known coach that's won multiple national titles that just happen to be for some reason taking over your team, you're probably not, whether you're a Pitt or a Penn State or you're a Wisconsin and Illinois and Iowa, you know, Virginia Tech, you're probably in most years not going to land 5-star recruit. You might land them once in a while, particularly if they're from your state, but you're not pulling in the 5-star recruits like Texas and Oklahoma and Alabama. And for some unknown reason this year, the one that this is sort of the point of my story is Miami has nailed down like a couple 5-star recruits, and they had a terrible year. They had a very crap year. Now, my Panthers also had a crap year, you know, in comparison to the previous year when they had Kenny Pickett as their quarterback. Okay, I get that, and they were going through a little bit of a transition with a new offensive coordinator and all that fun jazz. Okay, and they did okay. They didn't do great. They should have beat Georgia Tech and at least played. They had at least one of those other games that they probably should have won, that they lost, but that's okay. They didn't need to go and get beat up by Clemson in the ACC championship game either. So that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I'm happy where they ended up. Though they're likely going to get absolutely smushed in the, as I've called it, the I can't get past the 50-yard bowl, which was the last time Pitt went to the Sun Bowl. They lost 3-0 to, I can't remember even who, Cal or Oregon State or Oklahoma State or something. They had just a miserable outing, and you know, whereas they played a very good defensive game, the fact that you couldn't get past the 50-yard line at any point in that game was possibly the most worst thing of that whole game, watching that whole game. But anywho, I'm sidetracking myself here, but So, okay, recruiting's finished. Okay, you're not Ohio State or a Southern school, so now you've finished with some mostly 3-star recruits, maybe some 4-star recruits, if you're lucky. And then you go in the off season, and people get hyped up in training camps over the summer. And you do a spring game as well. I forgot to mention that, where you do like a red versus blue or a offensive versus defense type game. It's just about sort of getting some of those inexperienced players some snaps, and then you go into the off-season conditioning, and then training camp comes in August roughly, and then you start your season sometime right before Labor Day, and you win some games, you lose some games, more than likely, and you have a set of expectations, and then you just do this all over again. But at the same time, you would expect the teams that got, that over a 4-year period, that got, say, 50% of their recruits were 4- and 5-star players, or greater than 50% of their players are 4- and 5-star recruit players. You'd expect them to be, winning 11, 12 games every year and competing for national titles when, that is true, but there are a lot of places that get 4-star, 5-star recruits that don't. So then you question, you say, well, is it the coach? Is it their ability to scout these players? Or is it the fact that the recruiting is a bunch of bullshit and it doesn't matter? I mean, you could easily compete for a national title with a group of known 3-star players and no 4-star player. That's nice. It's a nice spot, anyways. I know that you gotta have stars. You can't just have a bunch of really good players. You have to have someone who's can handle the ball at quarterback, or a really strong running back stable, defense obviously. Coaching's a big part of it too. I've seen coaches get more out of 3-star players than bad coaches ever get out of the best of the best. Plus, some of them get their assholes full, as my grandfather used to say, where they think they're first round NFL draft pick coming into their freshman year of college, and they can't handle their own business, or B, have disciplinary issues, and they end up either washing out of college football or getting drafted late in the NFL and then washing out.